Do you love silly stories for kids? Why not consider joining our family? You can even get a very special message from one of your favourite silly stories for kids characters. Head over to the website to find out more. It's your support that helps us to continue to make exciting stories and more crazy content.
Did somebody say crazy?
Oh, Pimpin, no.
One day, two little boys named Caleb and Zachary were very excited because today they were going to the park. Caleb and Zachary loved the park. There were always so many exciting things to do. Today they were most excited about the climbing frame. When they got to the park, Caleb raced over first. "Zachary, I'll race you to the top," he said. "Not if I beat you there first," said Zachary. They raced and they raced and they ran across the playground until eventually they got to the base of the climbing frame. When they got there, they started to climb up and up and up until they reached the top. Caleb got there first, but Zachary was very close behind. "Whoa," said Caleb, "that was a really close race." "Yeah," said Zachary, "but does something look different to you?" Said Caleb. "I don't think I've ever seen this button before." "Do you think we should push it?" said Zachary. "Well," said Caleb, "it's probably not best to press buttons if you don't know what they beep." "Zachary?" "Yes," said Zachary. "Did you just press the button?" "I did," said Zachary. "Oh dear," said Caleb. "Let's hope that nothing strange happens." "What's that noise?" said Caleb. "I'm not sure," said Zachary. He looked down, and at the bottom of the climbing frame, rocket boosters had formed and were starting to blast the climbing frame straight out of the ground. "Zachary, what have you done?" said Caleb. "I don't know," said Zachary, "but it looks like we're turning into a rocket." "It does," said Caleb, "and we're going straight up." Caleb and Zachary started to blast straight up into the sky, and they were very confused about what was happening. "Who's controlling it?" said Caleb. I don't know," said Zacho. What's this over here?" said Caleb. Caleb found a strange section of the climbing frame that actually looked a little bit like a wheel. He grabbed it and held on. "I wonder," said Caleb. He started to lean one way. "The rocket's turning," he said to Zacho. "Quick, all right, maybe just direct us straight back to the ground." Said Caleb, "there seems to be some kind of map here." "A map," said Zachary, "but where's it going?" "I don't know," said Caleb, "but maybe we should find out." So Caleb very carefully kept the rocket on course and followed the map. They realised shortly into the journey they were heading straight towards the moon. "Wow," said Zacho, "I can't believe we're heading to the moon." "But how are we going to breathe?" said Caleb. I don't know," said Zachary. "If we get too much higher, we'll be in big trouble." "Yeah," said Caleb. "Maybe I should turn around." "Hey," said Zachary, "I found another button." "What does it say?" said Caleb. "Nothing," said Zacho. "Well, we're this far." So Zachary pressed the button. Beep! All of a sudden, some helmets came out of the climbing frame and plugged onto the top of Caleb and Zachary's head. "Look, they're breathing helmets," said Caleb. "Wow, I think we're ready to go," said Zachary. They kept blasting on and on and on until eventually they realised they were getting very, very close to the moon. "Well, how do we land this thing?" said Caleb. "I have no idea," said Zachary. "I guess we'll just have to try our best." Caleb held onto the wheel as tightly as he could and very nervously guided the playground straight down towards the moon's surface. They landed in the middle of a crater. Dust lifted everywhere as they landed on the ground. "Do you think it's safe to get out?" said Zachary. "I don't know," said Caleb. "Probably not. Maybe we should start heading back home." "Zachary? Zachary?" Caleb looked around, but he couldn't see Zachary anywhere. "Whippy!" He heard a voice in the distance, and there was Zachary jumping along on the moon's surface. "Caleb, you've got to try this," called Zacho. "Oh, okay," said Caleb. He climbed down out of the climbing frame and touched his feet on the moon. "Wow." "Jump," said Zacho. "Okay," said Caleb, and he jumped straight up in the air. "Whoa," said Caleb. It's almost like flying." "Yeah," said Zachary. "Look." Zachary jumped and spun as fast as he could. Whoa, said Caleb. That was so cool. I wonder what else is here. They started wandering around, and eventually Zachary saw something. Hey, Caleb, did you see that behind that rock over there? No, said Caleb. What was it? It was something green, said Zachary. Green, said Caleb. Like it was alive? I don't know, said Zachary. Let's go have a look. They walked around to the side of the rock where Zachary had seen something. When they got there, there was nothing there. Zachary, I think you're seeing things, said Caleb. Look, said Zachary as he pointed down. There's footprints. Footprints, said Caleb. How could there be footprints? We're on the moon.
Beep beep beepo beepo.
What was that? Said Zachary. I don't know, said Caleb. They turned around, and there, standing behind them, was a little green man. He had pointy ears and green skin from head to toe. His features were all very round, and he was quite bubbly.
Beep beep beepo beepo beep beep beep.
He said to them. Excuse me, I can't understand what you're saying.
Beep 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 beepo.
He said. I don't speak that language, said Zachary. The little green man came over to Caleb and Zachary. They were very scared. They didn't know whether or not to run away. But as they stood, the green man reached up and pressed a button on the side of their helmets. Beep, beep.
Beep 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 beep. Hello, my name is Beepo.
I can understand you, said Zachary. I can understand you too, said Caleb.
Yes, said Beepo. I have pressed the translate button on your helmets.
Wow. Beepo, what are you doing here? Said Zachary.
Well,
Said Beepo.
I live here, he said. The real question is, what are you doing here?
Well, we didn't mean to come here, said Caleb. We were just playing on our playground when all of a sudden our climbing frame turned into a rocket and blasted us all the way here.
Well, I don't think you should be here. You should go home.
Why? Said Zacko. But it's so much fun.
Because nobody has ever come to here with me before, and it does not feel normal.
You live here all by yourself, said Caleb.
Yes,
Said Beepo.
all by myself.
Does that ever get lonely? Said Zachary.
What is lonely?
Said Beepo. Well, when you're by yourself, it's just not as much fun as with other people. You've got no one to play games with.
What is a game?
Said Beepo. You've never played a game, said Zachary.
No,
Said Beepo. Well, that settles it, said Caleb.
What settles what?
Said Beepo. We need to play a game.
What game are we going to play?
Said Beepo. Let's keep it simple, said Zachary. Why don't we play hide and seek?
What is hide and seek?
Well, said Caleb, what happens is 2 people hide and then one person has to find them. Said Beepo. How about, said Caleb, Zachary, you start off by counting and me and Beepo will go hide. Okay, said Zacko. Zacko started to count. 1, 2, 3. Caleb ran to go find a place to hide. Beepo stood perfectly still right behind Zachary. Beepo, yelled Caleb, you need to hide.
Oh,
Said Beepo. Beepo quickly ran and stood behind a rock. He didn't hide very well. You could still see the top of his head and part of his body sticking out the side. Caleb laughed, but he went and found a better spot, hiding in the bottom of a crater. Ready or not, here I come, yelled Zachary, and he came charging out. As soon as he turned around, he saw Beepo straight away. But to make sure it was still fun for Beepo, he pretended that he couldn't find him. I wonder where Beepo could be, said Zachary. As he looked behind different rocks and under boulders, Beepo was laughing. Caleb was hidden deep within a crater, and Zachary actually found him first. When he found him, then they went and both found Beepo. We found you, they said.
beep 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 beep.
He said. Uh-oh, I think my translate button has stopped working, said Caleb.
Oh no, said Beepo. I was just very excited. Now can I do the looking?
They said. Oh, definitely, said Caleb. So Caleb and Zachary went and hid, and Beepo started to count.
Zoink, twink, link, bonk.
What are you saying?
I'm counting,
Said Beepo. Oh, that's not how we count. That's how we count, said Beepo. So Beepo continued to count, and the boys went and hid. When they were all hidden, Beepo held some funny thing over the top of his head. What's he doing? Said Caleb. I don't know, said Zachary. He blasted it, and all of a sudden, some sonar beams went out and found exactly where the boys were. Beepo ran straight over. I found you, said Beepo. That's cheating, said Caleb. Hehe, said Beepo.
Oh well.
Well, said Zachary, this has been so much fun, but our mum will be very confused as to where we are. We better start heading home.
Oh, thank you, said Beepo. Thank you for teaching me about games.
Any time, said Caleb. You'll have to come visit us sometime on Earth. Oh, said Beepo.
That sounds fun.
So Caleb and Zachary climbed back on their climbing frame.
What is that?
Said Beepo. I think it's our rocket, said Zachary. We're not really sure what happened. Yeah, said Caleb. But when we push this button, he said, and he pressed the button. Beep! Rocket boosters pop out! Oh, said Beepo.
Goodbye, goodbye.
He waved.
Thank you for making me not lonely today.
You're welcome, called the boys, and the rocket blasted off. They went all the way back down towards Earth. How do we know where we came from, said Zachary. I don't know, said Caleb. Well, I can see that looks like Australia, so start heading there. So they started heading towards Australia. Where's Victoria again? Oh, I think it's down the bottom. Start heading that direction. Hey, I found a button, said Zachary. What does it say? It's got a picture of a house on it. Press it, said Caleb. Zachary pressed the button. Beep!
Heading home,
said the rocket. Yes, said the boys. And it blasted all the way back down to the playground. The climbing frame landed exactly where it was, and the boys climbed off. They went back over to their mum. Mum, you'll never believe what happened. What happened? She said. We were in a rocket ship that was actually the climbing frame, and we went all the way to the moon, and we met a tiny little alien called Beepo. Oh, you boys are so creative, said their mum. They both looked at each other, and they laughed. And that is the end of the story.
Today's episode has been brought to you by Beepo's Magic Flying Playgrounds, the only playground that is so much fun it can take you to the moon. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you do not miss any episodes. And for more information, head over to citystoriesforkids.com. We hope to see you next time. This is me, Beepo,
and me, Sam.
See you later.